Hello guys, today we have an interview with Jonathan from here he is. We are waiting for Jonathan to
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you.
So Jenny, would you like to start with introductions?
Yeah, sure. So,
Mm-hmm.
hi everyone, I'm Johnny, Jonathan. I'm from Albania. I was in the US in the year 2019. I was hosted in Cary, North Carolina by Borderless Friends Forever. And I'm currently on a gap year. I'm interning near a local youth center. And yeah,
So hello guys, my name is Eftelya Simsek and I'm from Turkey. I was hosted in Ohio during the years of 2018 and 2019, and yeah, that's I was hosted through AYA. So yeah, basically that was it. And we know each other from Civil Education Week. So we would like to talk to you guys about our Global Youth Day Service projects. And if you guys have any question, we will be answering them. Mhm.
so yeah, we can go now.
Yeah, so I'd like to start with the first question.
hmm
Um, would you like to tell us about your Global Youth Service Day project and what was your motivation to implement the project?
Yeah. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
my project was called Democracy Workshop.
Mm-hmm.
It basically concluded in some activities that introduced the young people to the notion of democracy. Um,
Mm-hmm.
since this year in Albania, we also have the elections. We also wanted to talk a little bit about the right to vote. And so it also helped the first voters to have a better understanding of this big right that they own. And yeah, it was a really nice activity, a project that was actually implemented really recently, and
Mm-hmm.
it was really fun in general.
Yeah, it's so nice. Like I also did a project called Sosyal Uzaklaşma in Turkey. We implemented this project like a year ago, and it was about providing a free psychological support to teenagers who needed one through volunteer psychologists. So, like doing a project was like, sometimes there are some reasons that you want to like implement a project. You maybe it's your personal motives or something, but when you start doing one you also see like how you impact other people. I feel like that was like the best part of like doing a project.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
really a big important part of
Uh-huh.
being part of
Like you
projects.
uh-huh like you first start with your own motives, and then the other people's motives also like become your motivations too, like if you know what I mean.
Keep going. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh. So I'd like to ask you another question.
hmm
Would you like to share like what challenges did you face during the project?
Actually, so our project was part of the Global Youth Service Day 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It was part of last year's Global Youth Service Day grants. And we faced a little bit of challenges towards the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So our project got postponed a little bit, like
Mm-hmm.
one year, not too much. I think that this was the biggest challenge that we had to face, and also during implementation, we
Mm-hmm.
had these COVID measurements that we always needed to be strict, and
Mm-hmm.
because it was an in-person activity that happened this weekend, this past
Mm-hmm.
weekend, April 10th, and I would say that we really did a great job, even though we faced some issues with, like, the implementation. But I would
Mm-hmm.
I would specify this to the pandemic and COVID measurements.
Yeah, it's just like one thing which is very hard to do during like a global pandemic going on. It's like you have to like from my project we had to do everything online. So it
hmm
was so hard for me to manage a whole team like all like virtually, because like we had to do all the meetings on Zoom. Like the only communication that we had was through Zoom, and that kind of becomes like that kind of gets frustrating by with time.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's also another challenge that, like,
Yeah,
that.
maybe in my case this was not really that kind of a problem, because
Mhm.
we also did some online communication, but we got to meet each other in person, so it was a little bit easier. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And we also felt a little bit sad that we couldn't have a bigger audience, because we needed to keep the number, small. But
Mhm.
we still got to have an impact, even though the number was, small.
Yeah.
I think I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
like
just.
for you.
Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Because like when you're online, I guess you can have more
Mhm.
people, so that's an advantage.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can have more people, and you can talk, like you can impact more people through your projects if they're
yeah,
online, because like most of us have the internet connection at our homes. But it's still like it's so hard to manage the team online because you can't really see them face to face, or it's just like you just have to talk through spreadsheets
yeah.
after a while. So it becomes like
It,
frustrating.
it's a lot of work. Yeah.
Someone asked, do you have tips for making Zoom events more engaging? Well, it's just something that I'm very terrible at. Like all my Zoom meetings are probably was very boring for the ones who participated in them. So, what I would suggest, that I really don't have any suggestions on it because I'm terrible at it. But if there are anyone who has some good tips, please like comment it down below. So, Johnson, do you have any tips? I
Um,
know you guys did it face to face, but like still
yeah.
maybe.
I mean, uh, online you can still do like some type of energizers and like little
Mm,
games, even though you're online. So and also a really important tip that I would give is that you need to engage your audience by always asking them questions, so that they don't like just be hearing to what you say the whole time, because that
hmm
somehow becomes a little bit boring and they would lose interest. But that's something to keep in mind. Like questions and interacting with your audience is really important when
hmm
you're doing Zoom events.
Also, someone asked, how are you planning on expanding your project? But would you like to answer that question later?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe at the end of it. Yeah, okay. So, maybe we can take the questions later too, so it wouldn't
Yeah,
as
that's important, but
intro.
we can answer that later.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
So I'd like to ask you, how did you work with your community during this project?
Mm. So the community is a really important part, because we have so many resources that we can use. And when when you know how to use them, it
Mm-hmm.
really becomes your work becomes a lot more easier. And for example, in my case, we had the American Corner in our town that
Mm-hmm.
we used as a venue. It was given to us for free by our town, which we found it like a lot more easier than using some other spaces. And also the people that helped us from a local youth center was also very it made our work easier. And we also got a few of our participants were from this local youth center, so that helped a lot as well. What about you?
Yeah. So I would like to say, my community, like we did this online. We did this online, so I really didn't like. My
Mm,
community was my yes community. Like,
yeah.
we did this project with 2019 yes alumni
Hmm.
from Turkey. So it was like we were mostly meeting on online. But what I would like to say, that how did I work with my community? I just have like we worked on Zoom calls, and like we one thing that helped us to organize all this whole project was the efficient usage of like the office programs. So that just helped us a lot. So we could like organize and like keep in touch with each other through like spreadsheets and stuff. So it's just like one thing that to keep in mind when you're doing a project. You can like, you
Yeah,
know.
that's
Uh-huh.
I would definitely use that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would like to ask you about like what do you think were like the keys to your success?
Um, the most important thing that I would point out was the hardworking teamwork of the alumni that we're helping in the
Mm-hmm.
project. So they were really dedicated to this, and
Mm-hmm.
like we had times when we were struggling with like timetables and trying to keep everything, like
Uh,
basic agenda that we had, and like seeing everybody working so hard for like
mm-hmm.
getting it all together was just like really amazing, because sometimes teamwork doesn't work as it should, and like there's only one person that does all the work. But in our case, everybody was like trying so hard to
Mm-hmm.
do everything that they were like supposed to, and it was just like really, really relieving at some point. But in the end, like we all were like, yes, we did it. And I think this is the main reason of our success, if we can call it like that.
Mm-hmm. Also, I would like to mention something. When you're like implementing a project, I feel like if you aim too high, that gets like if you aim too high, then it gets harder to achieve that. So I
Hmm.
feel like if you start from your own community and you're like from maybe with more like achievable goals,
Uh-huh.
it always helps to
Like
do the
lower
project.
expectation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like if you aim too high, it's always like harder to organize it, and it maybe get frustrating for some people who just started to do a project. So if you also like aim, if you don't have like too big of a goals, maybe it also like helps to get the project
Yeah.
going easier. What do
So
you think about that?
being more realistic about what you're trying to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
like trying to have a more concrete vision of what you're aiming, and that's definitely a really essential part of succeeding, and of getting what you're trying to get. That's important.
Yeah, also like, there aren't anything as like when you're volunteering, there aren't such thing as like small or big. You just like do it and it just like if it helps other people, that's
Just
basically the yeah,
yeah, totally.
that exactly. So I'd like to ask you, what did you learn from doing this project?
mm, so I learned that it's it's really important to do these activities,
Mm-hmm.
because actually, so I'm going to start from here. My motto is acting locally can make a change globally. We know that phrase, and in
Mm-hmm.
the end of each session activity that are related to volunteering, I always see myself closer to having a bigger impact. So when you realize that you have actually done something, and you know how important it is for your communities, uh, you feel more, you feel like you have achieved something, and you learn that if these things
Mm-hmm.
were not to be done, then we wouldn't be closer to being better. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Like it's
Yeah,
just it's also uh like when you start working with other people, it also like help like I feel like that's a very important skill to be able to work with a group too. That also like doing projects teaches you that, and also like you'll be like when you do a project, you get to interact with a lot of different people from different Rios and like different places. So it's always like I feel like it's always vision opening to do a project.
true.
Would you agree?
I totally agree. Um, I just find it so essential, and I totally agree with what you said.
Yeah. So by the way, there are some questions about Yes program. Guys, we really don't know about like the Yes program so far. Like not about the program, but like the application dates for the upcoming year. So I think those will be announced by this Instagram account. So I would just
We,
suggest that you keep following it.
yeah, we can
Hmm.
answer to GYSD related questions though, and
Yeah.
since we both have implemented a
Hmm.
few, so that would really help. So yeah.
Before going to my next question, would
Hmm.
you like to take some question from the audience right now?
Yeah, sure. So
So So Fatima asked Fatima said that she was planning on doing to work for the awareness of menstrual health in rural areas of country Pakistan, and of course belong to a society where talking about menstruation is considered disgusting. Your views. I feel like you would know better about the sociological situation of your country than we do. So if that's something that you can implement, I feel like you should definitely go for it. I would definitely like support it as a woman. I feel like it's very important for other people also learn about menstrual health. And we're gonna give a couple of advices in like 5 minutes about how to do a project. So I would suggest you to stay with us and listen it. I
yeah.
feel like that would help you to figure out how to start your project. And if you ever need anything, also you can also get in contact with any of us. We would definitely like to help you.
Yeah, I would actually also like to add something to this. Um,
Hmm.
the most important part, the most essential part is just having an idea. Like that's it. If you see yourself struggling to concretize your idea and turn it into an actual project, there's always a really good team that can help you. Like for example, the American Council's the YES program, like
Hmm.
your alumni coordinators of your country. There's like this huge staff that can help you, but also to what Eftelya said, there's also this issue with these social stigmas towards the topic that you have chosen. We come from countries that are not as liberal or as progressed, so I definitely push you into implementing this idea and turning it into a project, although it might seem a little bit difficult. But I really think that it's something that everybody should work towards too, and would really help. Would really help. But
Hmm.
don't like leave it just there, right there. Try to do something about it because you'll find the help you need. I'm sure about that.
I feel like when you were talking, it just like come to my mind. I feel like the biggest like inspiration to start a project comes from our own daily lives. Would you agree on that? Like when you're doing something, if you feel like you're struggling with something, that becomes an inspiration to change that thing. Like for me, for example, I
Yeah.
was really like when the pandemic first started, I was really struggling with my own mental health. It
Hmm.
was like I felt very trapped in the house. I felt kind of like anxious, and they're just like I felt isolated and alone a lot. So I felt like, there might be other people who feels exactly
Yeah.
like me. So how
Yeah.
can I help them?
Yeah.
And also helping them through my project kind of helped me because like I really needed to, do something. And that
I
was just like my escape point.
I totally agree with that. That's the best feeling because helping others and helping the community is the whole idea of GYSD related programs and projects. And I especially related to my project would specify that I had also the same case. I needed a little bit of information towards the actual politics and like the democracy in my country
Mhm.
and the situation that was going on, everything. And I couldn't find it, or I couldn't find it like correctly or unbiased. And at the moment when I had more information and I had taken part in several workshops, I was like, I'm ready to do this for the others, because I feel like there are other people who also need like this information, you know. There are other people who want to discuss about it. There are other people who are like full of ideas and just don't know what to do, you know. So that's definitely really important. And like um when you get it from yourself, you know, your personal side, it just becomes even better because it has this great feeling. And yeah, I agree, I agree.
I feel like also like, do you remember we had this grassroots project session in Civic Education's week?
Yeah,
Did you remember? I feel like that really also inspired me to do like, you know?
we have
Do you remember like we talked about how
the
small changes you make around you really change a lot actually,
yeah,
even though you don't really notice it.
there was this, I think we visited this park, Meridian something it was
Yeah,
called.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
was on top,
like
in Washington,
was it
D.C.
was really inspiring, like thinking about how the people changed the community just like with what they had
Mm-hmm.
was very thoughtful. And uh it just gives you some ideas of what you can do when you go back to your country. And it really gives birth to this sense of needing to volunteer, you know, need
Yeah.
to do the change. That's awesome. That's just
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. So shout out to our CEW team from here. And there are other questions. So, if I pronounce your name wrong, please forgive me. But I think Eunice said, "What did you guys think of Americans on your first day here?" So, I think we can answer this question later. I would like to take the Global Youth Service Day related questions first. So, Ilyas asked, "What is the impact you foresee?" I probably think that he meant like, what's the impact that you would like to achieve with your
to
projects?
like predict. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so our projects are small, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we're not giving as big as impact as we would like to, but um, you start by small steps. You know, it's not
Mm-hmm.
always the big steps that you have to take in order to achieve bigger impacts. And I feel like you still do some change because, for example, in my case, I had kids telling me that they wanted to, you know, discuss about these things again, like at other
Mm-hmm.
sessions when the situation gets better, or like even virtually, they would join. And they would like to, you know, do actual debates, even though like debates and discussions were part of our sessions. They wanted to, you know, talk, like take it to another level and like talk more seriously about these topics. And it just um, it just makes you feel great because you see that it is going to give a longer impact. And it's just wonderful. And yeah, that's about it, I guess.
Yeah.
What about
So what about me? Like my project is not co like my project was my project isn't continuing right now, so I feel like I can't really foresee like any other impact. But the impact that we got from the last year's project was we we probably was able to reach out like 40 teenager. So I feel like that was like a lot of number because when you think about like all the people that needed psychological support and couldn't afford it, it's just like 40 people felt 40 teenagers felt
yeah,
like a lot to me.
yeah,
But whenever I got the feedback forms back, I cried reading by one of them because like they
yeah,
were like, it's just like uh it's just so sad that psychological support is not free, and not everyone can see a therapist because it's like expensive to do so. I feel like that's just like one thing that kind of got me thinking, like, why don't we care about mental health more? So maybe I can do another project about mental health. And
definitely,
yeah,
yeah.
later, yeah, for sure. That's what I think about, like, maybe I can do another project on mental health and like affordable mental health care.
also
So,
considering that those 40 people have at least one friend that they will help, that
mm-hmm,
grows like the network. And of course has a bigger impact, you know, like it's not only those 40
yeah,
people that, you know, find some
mm-hmm,
solution. They
Yeah,
also lead
exactly.
by helping other people, and that's just how it starts. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Uh-huh.
It's just really
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
unpredictable. How much impact
Hmm.
it can have, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, maybe one person had the was able to have the support, and then saw a friend suffering from something like that, and then he was able to, or he or she was able to give up, like, you can do this or that, you can see a
Yeah,
therapist or something.
but
Maybe, yeah, you never can see, like, you can never really foresee the impact that you create,
yeah.
like. So, other questions that we got. So, guys, I told this before, but we really don't know how YES program will proceed this year. Like, they will do all the announcements from this account, from YES programs account. So I would really suggest you to keep following the YES programs account, Instagram account. They will do all the announcements from here. They said, Ilyas also asked, are you planning on doing a new editions and expand your project?
I'm not finding it. Just give me a moment.
Oh no, it was they asked through the questions part. I was
Oh,
able to see it. Uh-huh.
again, yeah. Just you can go first,
He,
'cause
we were actually planning on expanding our project, and we did once. There was a very terrible, or there has been a very terrible earthquake happened in Izmir, my hometown, from Turkey. So we restarted the project for teenagers who needed mental, no, psychological support to get through this trauma. So we restarted the project, and we were able to help six teenagers, I guess, but I wasn't really able to work with the project at the time because my classes were very hard. So shout out to Özlin if she watches it. She did most of the stuff for me. So, but
that's
yeah, we restarted the project again, and then we stopped it again.
that's actually really nice. Like, I'm
Hmm.
so glad you guys got to do that, because I find it so important, helping in topics related to mental health is something really great that you did, and I'm glad you guys got to do it, and I hope it starts again whenever you are free and the situation gets better.
Thank you so
No.
much. I really appreciate the support. So that's pretty much it with the questions. So I will keep going with my questions to you. So
Hmm.
your advices, what would you advise to other people who like to other YES alumni who like to start a Global Youth Service Day project?
Um, the Global Youth Service Day projects are really important. Sometimes we find ourselves struggling during implementing them, and we find ourselves like near to like giving up. So
Mm-hmm.
we might feel frustrated. We might feel we might see it as too hard to achieve, and
Mm-hmm.
we're just so close to giving up. Don't do that. Like, don't give up. If you need help, please ask for help. If you need any resource, please ask for them. Like, I myself nearly found myself giving up, and I didn't do that, and I
Mm-hmm.
later on found out that it was the best decision that I made,
Mm-hmm.
implementing the whole project. And that's mainly about it. It will make you guys feel so fulfilled, and as it will be a really great feeling in the end. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to other people who have done those before, those projects. And yeah, that's mainly about it. Yeah. uh,
Yeah, I would definitely agree. There were many times where I felt like almost giving up because
mhm.
it's like it feels frustrating after a while because like you work through a project day and night, and if you don't know how it's gonna turn out. It sometimes get frustrating, but yeah, one important aspect is to keep going. Also, I feel like one of the advice that I would like to give during this global pandemic time is I would really suggest you to get very creative with your projects
Hmm.
because like there we don't have a lot of options, but like this is what we got our education for like 10 years probably. Like you kind of have to solve a problem, and I feel like you guys can use your own creative ways to solve these problems. I feel like you can find a very unexpected ways to volunteer. And it's just like also I would like to mention one thing that what I was gonna say. I was talking about getting creative and one thing, like active volunteerism is not just like joining the United Nations force to feed refugees or something. Please don't think volunteerism is something like that. Even though you go out and feed the stray cats in your neighborhood, that's an act of kindness. That's an act of volunteerism. So please don't please like you can also have goals that you can achieve easily and that you will still be like achieving some things. That's what I would like to say. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, I would totally agree. And also, Faber, somebody asked how to stay motivated. Um, just look at the bigger picture and look
Mhm.
at what is waiting you in the end. Like, just imagine what impact you would give, and it definitely just cancels out everything that you were like afraid of, or everything that's just stepping you. um, that's 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 at least how I stay motivated. So yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Like, if you can really see the bigger picture like, and if you also have like a very good sport team that supports you, like if you uh when you worked for a project, if you have a very good sport team that supports you, like you know your teammates, your other alumni maybe, like if they support you, then I feel like it's always easier to motivate each other as a group.
Yeah.
But that sometimes gets very like hard to do because we are doing everything online now. So sometimes that get even though like teamwork gets hard, I feel like that will always help to have a very good support system that supports you.
Staying motivated seems like sometimes seems really difficult, but
Hmm.
even a small message sometimes really motivates you. Even
Hmm.
something really small keeps you into like pushing forward and like keeping to try. So yeah, you don't have to do big things. Just even like a small message that you send to somebody, telling them that they got this, or yeah, it would definitely help in case you find somebody else struggling with motivation.
So I would like to keep going with this question. Why do you think global youth services is important?
Oh, um, Global Youth Service Day is important. I think it is important because it celebrates in some type of way this whole volunteering from the youth. And
Mhm.
I don't find it though as important, because I feel like we should volunteer every day of the year. We should be active every day of the year. But as a finalization of this whole year of volunteering, the GYSD is very important. And yeah. Um, what about
So
you?
I would say why global youth services is important. At first of all, like um, yeah, I would definitely agree with you. Like we should be engaging with our communities some type of way all the time. But also, I feel like Global Youth Service Day is a reminder of us to that we should get more active. So I feel like that's why it's important. It gives us like a chance to remember to get engaged with our communities, to get more active. I feel like it's a reminder. I found it important as like a, you know, as a reminder to like, hey, yeah, there was because like sometimes we get caught up in life.
Yeah.
Like to be honest with you, like sometimes there are like classes that we have to like to pass, and then there are like sometimes we work and then we our work schedule is hectic. It's just like I feel like sometimes we get caught up in the world, and that's perfectly okay, you know. That's just life. It's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But I feel like Global Youth Service is an important reminder for us to look around and get engaged to engage with our
Yeah.
communities. And if we can at least like spend one day of the year engaging with our communities, I feel like that would be like a very nice, even though if we can't get active all the time, I feel like that would be like a great time to do it.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree.
Uh, yeah, so what I would like to say. So someone asked, how do you, Crystal,
Mhm.
how do you
That's
encourage others to become involved in your project? So do you have any tips on that? I feel like
uh
that's something that I'm not very good at either. Like I I don't know why, like, I don't feel like as a leader, I feel like that part of mine is not as strong. Like, I feel like that's something that I should, like, work on to. So, if you have any tips, oh,
actually, I find it quite hard sometimes because
mm-hmm,
persuading other people who might not have the same vision as you do is quite challenging. But
mm-hmm,
I myself sometimes tell other people that it is important, and their help always counts, and they can do something about their community, and like inspiring small talks like this. Uh, Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does, but whenever it does, it really brings some change to the community, to the people that surround you, and yeah, I think that's it.
I feel like one thing that I figured out after doing this project was, I've like, we need, like, if you find a way to show your appreciation to other people, if you find a way, maybe like, uh, I don't know, like, different things work for different people. But like, if I feel like if you find a way to show your appreciation to other people and make them feel
Comfortable.
welcomed
Mhm.
and comfortable and make them feel like this project, like, it's just like not your project, not mine project, it's our project. If you
Yeah,
can give that feeling, I feel like that really helps
yeah,
to create this, like, encouraging environment.
definitely,
Uh-huh. But
because
like,
yeah,
mhm,
yeah, sometimes people find other spaces a bit
mm,
boring and strange, and when you give that feeling to them, it definitely makes them feel more welcome and makes them
mm,
to participate. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a great.
So in conclusion, also, as a young leaders, we all kind of like struggle with that too. So
Yeah,
if you guys have any tips for like watching this right now, please comment down below so we can also like hear from your experience and learn from your experience. Because like today we are here to also like talk about our experience, but also we would like to learn about your experience too. And that will be like something like, we can learn from each other. So yeah, that's just like one thing that I wanted to say. Also, like, what experience led you to decide why you wanted to do this project?
oh, um actually, the whole group, we gathered in Tirana last year before the pandemic,
Mm-hmm,
and we decided we wanted to do something about the current political situation in Albania,
mm-hmm,
and we really, all of us believe that political education is really important to to maintain the democracy that we have, and to make
mm-hmm,
it stronger, of course, and an actual experience, even because we have elections now in 2 weeks. Um, were the last elections in Albania. They were really confusing, and thinking about the first time voters this year coming from like really weird and confusing situations,
mm-hmm.
uh, wouldn't really help, so we felt the need to do something towards that, and I think we did a great job.
So yeah, I think so too. Like as far as you like, talk about it, the project sounds very nice to me.
Thank you.
So Yeah. So let me see if there are any other questions. Because small service. Someone asked how and where to start a small service by yourself with a minimum to zero budget. I am a pro at this, so I can,
Yeah, sure.
I can give an advice on
Yeah,
that. Like my budget for this whole project was zero Turkish liras, and I finished this project with zero Turkish liras. Like we barely spent like not barely. We didn't spend any money on it.
nice.
Especially during this during pandemic. But one of the best things about like global pandemic, like I didn't think there could be like a nice thing to having a global pandemic right now, but there is one. Is that everything is online and you can do basically everything online for free if you have internet connection. So that's what I would like to say. You know, if you can just like get like if you can carry your project to online, that brings the cost very
Yeah.
low. So that's just like one thing that I wanted to say. Also, like if you want to work on field, there are probably you probably will need some budget, but if your idea can be implemented on online, that will really lower the costs.
Um, if if you if you decide to do your activities in person, fundraising is one option. There
Mm-hmm.
are organizations that could help you with that. You could find partners. Everyone is, well, not everyone, but a lot of people are, available and always always open to help you. So if you reach out to the right people, you could always do a project with some funding, but it's just like actually just zero spending from your side. Yeah,
Yeah, I would definitely agree, and also like fundraising is a very good option. You
yeah,
can do fundraising for like you can find some creative ways to fundraise. And we actually raised a fund for the late, like I told you about this later, but earlier, but there was like a there was a very bad earthquake happened like 2 months ago in Izmir. So we created this fundraiser and we were able to raise some money so we could donate it to some organization. So there are plenty of ways to raise a fund. Also, one way to one way to create a budget is applying for grants.
yeah,
And you applied for grants
yeah,
and you got some, right?
yeah,
Would
uh,
you like to talk about that? So maybe some other ES alumni who
yeah.
like to apply for grants
So
can get inspired by your experience.
yeah, there are grants for the GYSD. I actually won one. It helped me with my budget.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a complicated process. It's actually quite easy. With the help of others, of course, we managed
Mm-hmm.
to finish it in time to get everything ready. Um, it really helps a lot because
I'm
it
so
really
sorry, that
helps.
was my alarm.
Yeah, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, grants are definitely a really great chance, and everybody should apply for them, especially the GYSD grants. Um, yeah,
So yeah, I if you follow like the new announcements on Yes official website, I feel like you will be able to see the deadlines and dates. Does grant I feel I remember hearing that some of the grants have dates or deadlines. Do you know
yeah,
anything about it?
yeah, they do. They do.
Uh-huh.
The YES program or all the organizations that offer them usually have open calls for applying. They do
Uh-huh.
have deadlines, but sometimes it's you have a lot of time, so it's not
Uh-huh.
difficult to apply for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can follow the announcements from Yes program, the Instagram website, and also like from the official website. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's basically what I would like to say on that. So if you guys have any other questions before we end our live session, we would like to, if you guys have any questions about sort like how to start a project or anything, that will be like the best time to answer them right now. If I could ask, how's the decision for? Uh, we really don't know about the process of YES
Uh,
program,
yeah.
how it's implemented in your own country right now. So we wouldn't be able to say anything on that, but I would suggest you to follow YES program so you wouldn't miss out on any announcements.
So if there are no more questions, I guess
Hmm.
this is about it.
And Mark said, thank you for sharing your Global Youth Service Day project. We would like to thank you for organizing this whole thing. I hope we
Yeah.
could, I hope that was useful. So if there aren't any other questions that, let me check it again. Um,
Thank you so much, guys, for joining this. To all my Muslim friends, I wish you Ramadan Mubarak, and
yeah.
may God accept your prayers and fasts. And thank you for joining this. And I hope this somehow inspired you all
Mhm.
um, to apply for grants, to try to implement your projects and everything. Thank you so much.
Also, I would like to say Ramadan Mubarak to all of you guys too. And if you guys have any further questions that you couldn't ask today, you can reach out to us from our Instagram. Like, I wouldn't have any problems with it, Johnny, if you would be okay with it too. You can reach out to us, and
Yeah.
if you guys have any further questions, we would like to answer them. So that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. All right. Have a nice
You.
rest of your evening, and
Goodbye.
yeah, goodbye.